Hi folks, Doc Jake from Sioux Nation Ag Center here. Now, we know that grazing corn stalks is an economical way to feed cattle. However, low quality forages like corn stalks require plenty of water for the animal to digest them. Because corn stalks often don't have a heated water source nearby, how are we going to make sure cattle get enough water to drink when the weather gets chilly?
For those of us who use stock dams to water cattle on corn stalks, this means we're probably going to have to break ice when the weather's below freezing. Keep in mind that cattle are going to need roughly a gallon of water per 100 pounds of body weight, and they're not going to drink that in one shot during the day. This means we need to be breaking ice at the times that work for the cattle, not just when it's convenient for us. So how do we do that so we can keep the water open longer and not have to make as many trips out to break ice?
Because we can't wait by the water and break ice all day, the first thing we need to do is make sure we break enough ice in order for plenty of cattle to come up and drink at the same time. It's the same concept as having enough bunk space when we're feeding cattle. If there's not enough space, then somebody goes short. Now, generic rancher Ron thinks that all he needs to do to keep cattle watered is to simply crack the ice. After all, the cattle can drink around the cracked ice and get a good drink of water. He looks at it as just having ice cubes in their glass of water, the same way he enjoys his tea. However, if we want cattle to be able to access liquid water for longer periods during the day, it's better to use a pitchfork to take out those big chunks of ice. The reason is, with those big chunks of ice in, there's less surface area that needs to freeze in order to lock the cattle out of the liquid part of the water.
The consequences were visible later that afternoon when we came back to view the two holes that generic rancher Ron and I had broken open. As you can see, generic rancher Ron's hole was frozen over, which locked the water away from the cattle, as well as required more work to open it back up. On the other hand, the hole that I had chopped had just a thin film of ice over the top. The water was still accessible to the cattle, and I really didn't have any other work to do. So folks, if you have any other questions about cattle care in cold weather, feel free to reach out to us at Sioux Nation Ag Center. Our team of nutritionists and veterinarians and staff can help you answer questions about what's the best way to manage cattle in cold weather. Because after all, if the cattle are comfortable, they're sure a lot better at feeding that bottom line. So, you gonna quit?
I'm done. I've got a lot of work to do over there yet.
Well, good luck. We're all counting on you.
Thanks.
So the worst of this is we just did this to show that this was a bad idea. But generic rancher Ron was actually the one that told me this when I was a kid, don't do it this way. Ironically, here we are now. He's the one that did this way and now has to come back and clean up all of the ice chunks that we left in there.